Ancient Egypt boomed in clothing, jewelry, and its style throughout its long time period. Clothes started with two stages before becoming clothes: plant, linen, then clothes. The plant, flax, is a flower that grew next to the Nile and only ever got to about 2 feet tall, with small leaves and blue flowers. Flax was pulled from the ground, not cut like many other plants, and this work was done by men. In the clothes making process, it started off with the flax being soaked for days and days in water. Then the fibers were separated by hand, then beaten until soft. Then soft fibers were attached to the spinner to be attached to a spindle. The fibers were twisted into thread before being put on a loom. After put on the loom, weaving began. After the linen was made, it was dyed or usually just left white. Both men and women wore similar things, such as wigs, makeup, and jewelry, but still wore somewhat different things. Men wore a skirt that wrapped around their waists, tied with a belt, and at rare times cloth was wrapped around their legs. The skirt's length varied from period to period. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BC, with short skirts. The Middle Kingdom, 2055 to 1650 BC, with calf-length skirts, and the New Kingdom, 1570 to 1544 BC, with pleated skirts. The more money the men, or women, had in ancient Egypt, the finer and more see-through their linen. Women in ancient Egypt wore full-length dresses with one or two straps holding the dresses up. During the New Kingdom, 1570 to 1544 BC, it had become popular for women to wear pleated dresses. Women of stature wore very fine and transparent linen. Women in ancient Egypt were very proud of their wigs and wore a new wig every day. The more obvious the wig, the better, and it was shameful for someone not to wear a wig, or worse, not able to afford a wig. Wigs were made from wool, and if you were wealthy, real human hair. On special occasions, women would wear a scented cone on top of their wigs. As this cone melted, it let off a pleasant aroma. This cone, used for parties, was made from scented fat. No matter your wealth, everyone wore jewelry, including slaves. Jewelry could be made from gold or colorful beads. Makeup was also worn by everyone, male or female. Makeup was applied around the face, the eyes lined with thick black powder called kohl. Kohl was also applied to the eyebrows and eyelashes. This was done to prevent eye problems and to protect the eyes from the rays of the sun. Makeup was also applied to the cheeks for the same reason women do today. Workers, or slaves, wore simple loincloths made out of animal hide or linen, though most slaves worked completely naked. Due to the workers usually being out in the sun a lot longer than anyone else, workers were much more tanned. The workers' wigs were shorter than anyone else's because they had no money, and they usually wore very little jewelry. Priests, who were of high stature, were extremely clean, washing several times a day. They wore no wigs, nor had any hair anywhere, for hair was considered unclean. They wore no leather or wool, for it was also considered to be unclean, but instead wore leopard robes or linen skirts. Pharaohs, while they wore similar clothes to other people, they still had more accessories, such as nemes. Nemes were headdresses pharaohs wore as an important royal emblem. In the beginning of ancient Egypt, nemes were fine linen cloths gathered at the back of the head, but by the 3rd dynasty, pharaohs wore the nemes over their wigs, and by the 4th dynasty had showed that nemes had become royal. The headdress's band, which didn't appear until the Middle Kingdom, was bound above the eyebrows and went back under the queue, and was strengthened by a hard material, such as leather, to prevent sweat from staining the neme or shafting the brow. Pharaohs also wore a wraparound skirt, and of course pharaohs wore plenty of jewelry. Ancient Egyptians, whoever they were, all took great care in their